This episode of Super Pulp Science is brought to you by The Eye Collector, available at comic stores everywhere.
Attention, citizens. It's time for Super Pulp Science.
This is Super Pulp Science, where we talk about how genre gets made. I'm here with my long-suffering co-host, known the world over as Chasing Artwork. It is none other than Justin Curry. Hi, Justin.
Hello.
And producer extraordinaire. You can fix that in post. Dan Vadeboncoeur.
Not going to fix it.
We did a recent episode, dear listener, which has not been released yet, where we interviewed Eric from Four Color Fantasies, and I was convinced that through my own horrible ineptitude that the audio quality would be no good. Dan saved it, though, and I can't wait to post purely Dan and only Dan, and Dan with no help whatsoever from anything else. He fixed it, and I can't wait to release that episode to you. But we haven't done a story break episode in a while. And if you're new to this podcast, if this is your first episode, because you have found us as a result of our image comic, The Eye Collector, because we put an ad in the back of it.
Nice.
And so it may have some effect. If that's you, we sometimes do episodes that we call story break episodes, where we spend an hour or less coming up with an idea, coming up with the basic structure of the plot, coming up with everything that you would need essentially as a one sheet for that story to then go and do the work. One of the things that I say about this is that ideas are worthless. So if you've heard one of our story break episodes, you're free to go run away and make a version of that story. That is totally on you.
And that has happened.
And we may run away and do one also. And that has happened. And it's always very different. Yeah. It is the singer and not the song. So we're going to give you some lyrics here.
We're not doing the hard work. We're not doing any of the heavy lifting.
We're doing the stuff where people who believe that in ideas, the only thing you need in order to get something made, they often show up at conventions.
They are so silly.
If they look you in the eye and they go, I have an idea for a book. If you partner with me, we could make a book and split it. And they're doing about this much work. The work that we're going to do now, that's the work they've done. And I hope that you will realize that if you don't take yourself too seriously, you can get something that maybe is worth exploring, and maybe it isn't. But it only took us an hour. Last time we recorded an episode in order, like our last recording session in this timeline, Dan and I got very excited talking about, we almost derailed the entire podcast to just talk about Star Trek transporter accidents. But
Star Trek has derailed this podcast many times.
More than once, yes. And
sign of a good podcast.
If it can be derailed by Star Trek, yes, that's true. There is a Venn diagram where people who watch Star Trek and my attention span overlap. But I want to say this. The rules of our story break is that the people participating don't yet know what the story is going to be. We decide together. So my offer to you in this story break is that I think we should do an exploration-based, Star Trek-inspired, flavored style story.
So the Orville.
A little bit like the Orville. No, not like the Orville. Okay, well, here's the great thing. What is it that we would say that the Orville and Star Trek have in common?
Like the entire premise of the show.
Yeah.
Which is?
Their foundations are exactly the same. It's just the tone.
Well, to answer your question, is that in the future, we have a world government that everybody can live and do what they want. We also have a space force that goes out and explores the universe and interacts with people, much like the old colonial explorers did back in the day in ships, but now it's in space.
But did you just explain to the viewer or the listener Star Trek or the Orville?
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the essential difference in the premise of the two shows is in, like you said, in the tone. And what we mean by that tone is the Orville plays interpersonal relationships for laughs and then for the heart. And in Star Trek, it's based around Gene Roddenberry's idea that the future would be a meritocracy. And the best of all possible kinds of people would be willing to explore space. And so that's who's in Starfleet. Is that the most curious, the most capable, the most scientifically advanced. And in the Orville, people often make more mistakes. And
More fart jokes.
yeah, more fart jokes, more mistake. They have more sex with blobs. That's definitely the Orville.
But every episode of the Orville, it is, if you're a fan of Star Trek, it is so easy to imagine that exact script, but played by the Star Trek actors, right?
Absolutely. And Seth MacFarlane said as much. This is just his love letter. Like everything he wished he could do, he just wanted to keep doing. But why I like the show, and the part that I'm saying, let's put this into our story break, is people at their best.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's what I like about watching Star Trek. When I want to put it on and I just want to like doodle and zone out, I don't even look at it. I just have it on like a radio play, right? It's because it's similar to the way that Jack Reacher is described as competency porn for the
I
violent.
was just gonna bring that up.
Right?
Star Trek
Right.
is
Right? It's like
competency porn.
if you could solve everything with violence and be right, that's Jack Reacher, right? You're clever, but ultimately you're going to break some bones, right? And you're never wrong. And so it's a little bit, and by definition, pornography is anything presented without context. So that is how I'm using it here.
Okay.
In that, right? So Star Trek is that same kind of competency, but it's the best parts of us. They always do the right thing, and they always want to do the right thing, and they sometimes waver, but in the end, everyone does the right. That's not what's.
And they're all in the field that they want to work in. Like they'd be able to, like they can specialize in medicine or engineering, or they can
They're
like
living their best lives.
doing the thing they want to do. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So in the rules of our story break, I'm going to write down best lives. Everyone's trying to live their best life. I'm going to try to spell life correctly. There, I've done it now. I wrote lie originally, so maybe I'm also going to write down best lie. One of them has the best lie.
So are we thinking serials, like a show, or a single movie? Because the thing about like Star Trek, and we were talking about Stargate and Doctor Who, is they have this this vehicle, this mechanic in the show where every episode they're at a new planet, they're at a new time, they're at a new location. So it's kind of like episodes can be very containerish, and they can do vastly different things every week.
Let's do, my instinct is to say no, we should try to limit it to one episode. So let's do the opposite of that, though.
Okay, so here's what I want to bring into this, because when we do story break episodes, I usually have like a running note in my phone of things that I think would be fun prompts for a movie, for a story break. And I like noticing patterns in certain movies that I like. And the one that I have going now is the building something movies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And examples of this are Oppenheimer, Imitation Game, Hidden Figures, Contact.
Oh, yeah.
So
Got there.
what I'm noticing in these
Stargate.
is
They don't build the Stargate.
No.
They find it.
They repair the Stargate.
No.
There's a wrench.
He's just got to figure out the symbols.
Okay,
man.
I'll give it to you.
Majority of the story is the journey of constructing something, inventing something, building something.
love it.
And the end result is almost like the end of the movie. Like that's where the story stops, right? When they finally.
That's the why this, why now.
I mean, Star Trek First Contact is this kind of, because they have that ship. Remember?
right.
If it was more focused on the guy who was coming up with warp for the first
Yeah, I
time,
guess.
right?
So. Like, there's a
Cochran?
part of that movie that is that. Yeah.
from
Okay.
Cochran.
So that was kind of my springboard that I had written down. Let's come up with a story break where this is kind of our wireframe of.
Okay, so
the
here's our
story-
ingredients so
stories.
far. There's going to be a group of people who are trying to live their best life. One of them is living their best lie. They're trying to build something.
Has there been a story about like the transporter being built in Star Trek?
Oh, like,
How they came up with the technology.
Yeah, I know we're going, but like we're not writing fan fiction right now. But
yeah, we can file off the serial numbers later. Okay, so what you're saying is
they
a
made
bunch
that
of
movie,
people are
it's
trying
called
to.
The Fly. And
That's true.
Well, that's one iteration of it, right? Like that's like, but you have to think like as presented, and they've done a lot with the transporter as a storytelling device over the years. But as presented as a device that will decompose.
Yes, that too.
That too, but like deconstruct your body's atoms and then put them back together. You think that there had to have been some big like mistakes or accidents or things that happened
That's
along
right.
the way, right? So maybe that's kind of where we can place this. It's not Star Trek. It's just maybe 100 years in the future when they're working on this technology. You know, they're doing the testing for this. This is something they are kind of working on now, actually.
Yeah, they've been trying to do.
Quantum teleportation.
Yeah,
I read
that's
about.
right.
He's right. It was in front of us the whole time.
General West, Jackson has identified the seventh symbol.
Go ahead.
Programming seventh symbol into computer.
So then you want to include the mistakes.
Well, I just you said transporter accidents, and I'm just kind of jumping off that, in that that's what makes it interesting when it doesn't work properly,
There
right?
has to be some big setbacks. If they're building something, right, it can't just go smoothly the whole time, or that's
Right.
not a fun movie. That's not a fun story.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, because something goes wrong. Because
Yeah.
we
Or
have
there
said
has to be
before,
opposition.
we've said before that the structure of the story break is very simple. It's somebody somewhere wants something, something goes wrong, a detail from earlier they didn't know was important becomes the plot twist that makes it go right. That is the structure of our story break. So we have our someones who are these people who are trying to live their best life. The something they want is they want to build a teleportation machine. The thing that goes wrong is someone's lying.
Okay,
Right?
maybe it's these scientists doing their own thing in their own fields, and the guy who directed Independence Day and
Dean Devlin.
it's one of those type of movies where the beginning of the movie is all these scientists being
Roland
collected. We have something for you to do.
Or
and
like Wild Wild West.
I think that was the same people.
brought together to.
Well, that's kind of what they do in Stargate, right? Though they have all these
Yeah,
different
yeah.
scientists, and they bring in that one guy. What's his name? At the last minute as the last guy, but they've all been kind of brought from different
Yeah.
places, right?
Oh,
Okay,
I kind
so-
of like those.
Here's what I'll
Hey.
say. I'll add a +1 to that. They've all been forced to fake their own deaths. So what they all have in common is they're allowed to live their best life, the thing they most want to do, their selfish exploration. And in order to do that, the group that selects them to be part of this mission realizes they have to be free of all responsibility and all attachments. And so my question to you is, have they done it willingly, or has this been done to them?
I feel like it's been done to them. They're being told en route to the facility that,
Right.
like, we have faked your death.
Oh, yeah.
You no
You're-
longer exist now.
Your family thinks you burned alive,
You help us, or
or we'll make
Well,
it
how
real.
about-
we'll
Yeah.
make it real.
Oh, so it's a threat. You're so dark, so
Yeah,
fast.
geez, guys, like just to give it a sec.
I thought they were living their best life.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Like we're forcing them into their best life, basically, at this point.
You're really good at what you do. We need you to do it harder than ever. But for us,
Oh my god, that's right. You just hope it's not OnlyFans that has scooped you up for that.
I would rather do like we're gonna make your dreams come true, and you can now spend the rest of your life researching this thing that you've always wanted to do.
Right.
And you don't have a family. These people don't have families.
That's what they have in common.
Yeah, they're all kind of loners and scientists
No
and
families.
Eddie.
Lonely. Yeah. Yeah.
maybe they don't feel connection to humanity because of that, right? Maybe
Okay.
there's like something there.
I
They
have
don't-
the big lie. I love this. So here's what I'll say. It's a group of people. They are all being given their wishes and they're all living their best lives and they're all happy. And the new recruit, the character that becomes the avatar for the audience or the reader, they are only now available because their family has died tragically.
Oh no.
And that's the best lie. This person was necessary. And so this group that has been mostly doing only good did one necessary evil and wiped the guy's family out so that he could come. And that will be the thing we're going to find out along the way.
That's right. Yeah. he's
And
gonna
so the
discover
greater
killed him.
good versus this evil.
This is giving me, if you've seen the Hail Mary movie,
Yeah.
Not yet, but yeah, I heard.
yeah, there is a
Yeah,
part in there
no
where
spoilers. Shh, Justin. No spoilers.
Yeah.
But it's true. I know what you're talking about. I'm looking at you right in your big blue eyes, and we know what we're talking about. Dan's shaking his head.
I have no idea.
And if you've seen it, you know, or if you've read it, you know. But it's like that, except the difference is everybody is thrilled to be there, and they're trying to help that person out of their funk. Like, don't worry, the work will come. The research will bring you back to who you are.
Exactly, yes.
You're going to, you know.
And they think it's been an accident or something. They don't know.
It
That,
is a
like,
tragedy.
Yes.
It is a tragedy, and there's no reason in the beginning of the story to suspect the organization at all because they only do good things.
So
They're
what
the
are-
do-good organization.
what are we building?
They're do-gooders.
we're building a transporter, basically.
Yeah. Why?
Because cars suck.
I mean, that's true. That's a given.
Yeah.
But
It will think about how much that technology would change everything about what we do as far as transportation and that kind of stuff. It really would be.
yeah, there would be no more borders. There would be no more geopolitics, right? There would be no more need for oil. If people could go anywhere, anytime, all the time, people would.
I feel like there's going to be some kind of trade-off, like it takes way too much power or something, or there's going to be some kind of something wrong with it along the way that they need to work
I
out.
feel like this. So if this is what we're going for, this story needs to explore every single one of those things
Yeah.
as they try to figure this out. We need to have the montage of, the smaller scale
Experimenting on animals.
experimenting.
On animals. Oh.
We merge them together.
Maybe they work
just like
up to
Brundle
that.
Fly.
And like another transporter, like big dilemmas. Like
What if they start
finally do
with
that?
flies as a callback to
The fly, yes,
right?
yeah.
And they name it Brendel Fly, and they're always sending Brendel Fly, and that would be a funny callback,
Sure.
Yeah.
right? Because everyone would know.
Of course.
Yeah. So you need a good callback. Okay, so Brendel Fly as the callback.
Okay, so we'll figure out the why later, but a bunch of people have been brought together
Yeah.
to work on this big experiment. They've been given unlimited funds and resources, and
Yes. The Do Good Corporation has brought the best people to live their best life to solve a scientific problem that will change the world only for the better.
they should be like on an island far away from civilization, just in case something goes wrong. You guys are or on like a
If you put them far away, then you're almost begging them to need the teleporter to work to escape.
Escape, yeah.
oh, love it,
Yeah. Oh, no, and it needs power, so it's a volcano.
a volcano. The Do Good
Yeah,
Company,
is in the Valhalla volcano base.
I like that.
Right? Okay.
geo-powered facility.
Volcano base.
Yeah.
Volcano base. Yeah, see? It's all coming together. So one of the things, dear listeners, that we're doing here, we're laughing about it, but movement gives shape to form. If you simply accept that the idea is the idea now, and you ask yourself, what's next with the idea, if that's true, it makes you laugh and you just move forward. In your second or third draft, you might write out the idea that it's a volcano base. But the volcano base, to me, simply solves the statement that was made earlier, that it requires an enormous amount of power. And then also the idea that it has to be somewhere far away. So on an island, so a volcano island is funny. If we are subverting the idea that they are not an evil organization like Spectre, but they're do-gooders, and then it also is funny that we've put them in the classic location of an old spy super base.
Go the opposite and put them in like the North Pole during the solstice. So like they have sunlight 24/7 and they're solar powered facility.
Solar powered.
But like, they're isolated.
I
think is
prefer
important.
volcanoes.
I
but-
know I like volcanoes too.
It just lends itself better to like destruction at the end. Like they
Yes.
can blow up the base and then escape through the teleporter is what
Right.
they want to do, right?
And it also begs. So here's the trope. The cliche ending is, of course, the volcano at the end is going to blow up and the technology will be lost, but the scientists will transport one last time and escape. Right? That's like obvious.
skipping ahead here.
Well, yes, but that's what you do in a story break.
Yeah.
You're trying to make
Where do we
the
want to
circle.
end up? Where do
That's
we
right.
want to land?
But we don't. I think we want to subvert that. My suggestion would be that if they teleport away, they are not going to get that technology.
You have to leave it
Still,
behind.
Like you have to leave it behind. They don't get to escape. But that's what you normally do. So I feel like the more interesting ending is that they actually leave and do escape with it. Like the
Escape
assumption will be that the world will be unchanged because of the disaster and the world is the way it is.
But these are the people who built it, though. The ending could be they release it online for free.
That's what I was thinking,
Right.
something like
Right.
that. Yeah. So
We
they want
go
to free
open
the
source.
because it would be again, it would change everything, so people could. But then you might have people using it for evil.
And I think that's something
And
we
they
need to
would.
explore.
That's what they
here.
would talk
Yeah, yeah.
about. So what is the conversation? One would say no, people would use it for evil. Right? We can't do this because what would tin pot dictators do?
We have to figure out like what can it be used to do? Like what's that list of things that
And it's
You can do it.
ultimately very simple. I say we create a scenario where, kind of like Star Trek, it seems to work like magic. The cool thing about Star Trek technology is they wave these little boxes and wands around and then stuff happens, right? It's science fiction.
They don't have any wands in Star
They
Trek.
basically do. That little boo, 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 boo.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a wand.
Okay, but yeah, good,
Right?
good point. Like, what are the mechanics of this? Do you have to go into a special room? Do you have to get zapped with a ray? Do you have to?
It's a beam.
Okay,
It's a beam and you reflect it, right? And so That's the satellites. Like the idea being here that I'm presenting is why it's so quote unquote dangerous is that all our existing infrastructure would allow for it to be used widely immediately. And that's why it would be dangerous.
Hey, what else is that like right
Yeah.
now that's happening in the world?
That's what I'm getting at, right? Widely, immediately.
Except there's only 6 symbols in the cartouche.
Well, the 7th actually isn't inside the cartouche. It's just below it here, designated by a little pyramid with 2 funny, neat little guys and funny little line coming out of the top.
Of course, you'd have the group of people that say, well, it should be, and it should be free. It's a free idea. It's easy and cheap, and people can do it. And then the people that say, no, we have to charge a subscription for it. We have to have airports where you just go and do it. And this idea of whether or not you keep the genie in the bottle, the theme I wrote down while we were chatting there is at what cost, right? Like that's really at the heart of a science movie like Contact or other things. It's like at what cost is this change?
I'm thinking like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's a big laser gun mounted on like a mounted laser gun that shoots you.
Yeah.
And now
you
you've
disappear.
disappeared. And does it have to shoot you somewhere else for you to show up? Or is it instantaneous? Like, can you be stored just like in Star Trek and then transported down?
Yes.
Or is it immediate?
I'll just say yes.
Yes.
I don't have a reason to say yes. That's just my gut.
Yeah, we can already. That's a lot of work that Star Trek has done for us, so we can just bounce, just jump off of that. That's pretty straightforward.
What I like about it,
But the ray is a different part of it. So that's a
The
different
ray is different, but you said laser.
yeah. So it's like what if it's like the early prototypes are more like
It has to be huge and clunky.
yeah, big and clunky and then the next version that they're working on now is more like the Ghostbusters proton
pack.
and it stores you in the pack.
Oh, well,
wow.
that's scary. Okay.
Right.
Suddenly we can store all this stuff.
Right.
The thing that the base technology we're talking about here is the ability to digitize a human.
That's
is
right.
kind of what it
Tron
is.
style.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like you scan somebody and you can store them in a computer system and then reassemble them
Okay, but if
somewhere
they're
else.
being digitized, here was something I was going to bring up. Now suddenly you can make duplicates of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason you'd make a MacGuffin that says no duplicates.
Or it's very dangerous and you could like end the world. If duplicates touch each other, their atoms can't occupy the same space at the same time or something like that.
Rules.
Is that what time cop is? Oh, I thought there was something like that. I didn't know where I was getting that from.
Amazing.
Time cop.
That's right. Wait, I thought he fights himself in Time Cop, doesn't he? No, you're not
that's-
allowed to touch
that's
each other. That's
The
what
other
you learn.
he makes the bad guy touch his other version of
And then
himself.
that's how
That's
he
right.
ends the movie.
Okay. So, but let's imagine. Okay, so they could. Depending on the tone of the story, if it's a lighter tone story, more like Orville, then you'd have the Brendel-Fly mistake on the shelf. You'd have the Time Cop mistake. Like they would have all these labeled errors that people
Body
who,
horror is just sitting outside the door waiting to come in.
That's right. Yeah. And like the notion here is that these scientists who have observed, watched, and participated in popular culture and popular media would have the same references we have. Yeah. And so they would be making those jokes, transporter accident, extra Riker. They'd have all of these, mirror universe mistakes maybe in a big room. And that's what the new guy finds.
Okay, so
Right?
what does our new guy do? What's his expertise? What's his...
Right now, his expertise is misery, sorrow, and loss.
Right.
That's how he
He's
enters the story.
At the going
He's
through a
lost
divorce,
he's lost his
drinking
family
too
in a
much.
car accident, which means he really wants to
right.
invent this technology
Sorry, I
because he
forgot
hates
killed his
cars.
family.
He hates vehicles and he wants to rid the world of this technology. So this is a motivation to be making a transporter device.
On the record, Justin killed his family. Car accident. He or she?
I don't
Does
know.
it change the...
I don't think it matters.
I feel like I accept more that a man in sorrow will make bad mistakes that the audience will find believable. And I feel like the rich inner life that we expect from a person who gave birth is different, right?
Okay.
So obviously this is just a opinion and it does not necessarily reflect the opinion of all present on Super Bowl of Science. I'm just saying that I feel like I would believe the man would make more obvious mistakes and be easier to manipulate.
Do you want this guy to be like his skill set to be mechanical, like he's the engineer that can build the actual tech, or do you want him to be a math guy who just fills up chalkboards with equations?
No, this first one.
You want him to be
Yeah.
Yes, and I would also add to that a story necessity, right? So here's an example. Episode 1, Star Trek Next Generation, the set builders on the show advised Gene Roddenberry to make sure that they write into Episode 1 that Picard tours all the different sets so that they'd be built and present. Otherwise, by Episode 2, there'd be no money left.
Right.
Right? And so make sure you go to the transporter room. Make sure you go to the engineering, right? You walk through it. It is all there. And so in that vein, if we have a character who is required to visit all of the different parts of the experiment because his expertise is a holistic view, he can find patterns.
the theory, making it like
That's right.
to the practical.
He can connect. What he's good at doing is saying, oh, you have this that works and you have this that works. I can turn those together into this
Jeff
other thing.
Goldblum.
That's
Jeff exactly how Jeff Goldblum built the transporter.
That's right. Is he shirtless, Jeff Goldblum?
I mean, we could make him shirtless. It's
And
our
does he heave as the dinosaurs come in?
Which movie are you guys talking about right now?
fly.
Like he's talking about Jurassic Park.
Yes,
Well,
but Jeff Goldblum is
also shirtless.
common to both of them.
No,
Shirtless
Jeff
and
Goldblum in both.
heaving in both of them. Yes.
Okay, but I love this. Like, you know, he is the viewer's avatar for this, right? He doesn't know what's going on. He's brought the facility, and he's kind of brought up to speed, going around, seeing what they've all been doing.
That's right. And it also gives a reason for people to be in his business. They're trying to shake him loose of the tragedy for good or ill. And so they engage, they maybe say more than they normally would in a situation like that. Maybe they try to be more empathetic than they normally would. It gives a reason for them to be different with him than they would be with each other. Right? It also gives you the ability to make everyone sympathetic, right? Oh, look how nicely they treated him. Oh, look at which then pushes suspicion further away, which of course is what I like about it, is it pushes suspicion into later because they need him. And so they killed his family. Well, Justin did it. Actually, if we roll back the recording, I'm pretty sure it was my idea, but I'm blaming Justin. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so he's good at putting things together.
Yeah, I think when he gets there, they have like a very small, clunky prototype where they're moving. What's the simplest object we can go from A to B with?
Brundlefly.
We're starting with living stuff.
I think they've been working
Well, they've
on
been working on
everything.
it, so they've had that happen already.
Yeah,
right?
so now they're doing
solve
Brundlefly.
the problem. They can't solve the problem.
Well, even okay, maybe they haven't moved to organic yet. Maybe it's just they're trying to move I'm holding a wooden cube, dear listener, like a painted wooden cube from point A to point B. But by the time it gets to point B, it's like
On fire.
on fire.
yeah.
So the theory works, but the practical, like the engineering, like they don't have. They have to build this thing.
The protons need to be inverted or something like that. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that's like that kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
he needs,
technobabble,
there's
yeah.
something that he needs to see that will,
There's too much energy left behind in the transfer, which is why it bursts into flames.
Sure,
It's 2 minutes,
that's a good
too much,
simple-
right?
And they need Mr. Rocket Raccoon to actually build something that can handle their ideas.
Yeah, so then he builds some kind of...
Actually, Iron Man kind of fits onto my list as well.
Yeah, that's true.
The first movie is really him building that suit.
In a cave with a box of scraps. Yeah.
I'm not.
You like that line, man?
I do like
Tony Stark.
Yeah. What I like about it is that meme has been floating around because Backrooms crushed Grogu at the box office, right? And the idea is like, here are these filmmakers that built it in a cave with some box of scraps, right? How dare you not be able to do this? Okay, so they are now going to switch to transporting life forms because he's figured out by taking a little of what you do and a little of what you do and a little of what you do, we're just going to tweak it slightly, and this is what I'm good
series
at.
of scenes where he's working with, the 5 other characters that we've introduced and bringing everything together to make that wooden block show up to point B.
There has to be one moment where he's like staring off to the space or something, and some very simple thought occurs to him.
He looks at a picture of his family.
Yes. And they're wearing a hat that something with a logo on it that makes, oh yes, and then he does. I don't know.
Oh
But it's
yes, that's such a trope.
It is.
but it's
Or
perfect.
It is.
They're on the
This-
beach and the ocean water. Oh, it's the salt, or
He grabs your drink. Can I borrow this? And he walks off with your drink.
That's right.
I don't need the drink. I just need the,
I need the
bottom
bottle.
of the bottle cap. What was
Can
that? That was
I borrow this?
Yeah, I don't
that
remember
was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
something. Yeah.
Honey, I Blew Up the
That's
Kids.
but I'm specifically really thinking of Stargate now that because he just says that.
That's
Can I borrow
right.
this
Right,
with the newspaper?
Yeah, we need to have one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's your Stargate.
And the example can give is something very simple for the audience and the reader to know, which is your power line needs a step-down transformer before it can go into your house, right?
Technobabble.
It's too powerful.
Power line.
Yeah, we
Remember that one?
drop the power down so that you can access it. That's essentially what I'm building. That's how he's explaining it to the person who is not a scientist but has got everyone together. The project manager is like, "What are you doing? Why does this work?"
Well, I
and
think,
he'll have
like, the rest of this team. They're so theory and science based that they forget like just like the engineering that he brings to it. Like he's the
Okay, here's
they're
the
too
theme.
smart. They're dumb. Right?
No, yes, they're so smart they're dumb, but also they're living their best life. And so the do-good organization has realized, as Stephen King puts it, it's the grit that makes the oyster, not the grit that makes the pearl, not pearl making seminars with other oysters. And so they've introduced someone who is not living their best life. They've created someone who suffered, who is not ready, is not present in the same way as them, and it's brought different things out of them. They're now different because there's this other type of person here. And that is this kind of the Steve Jobs character who is like, I don't build the machine, I play the orchestra, right? And what I realized is you guys were stuck in the rut of having everything and being happy and you'd never solved the problem. And so I had to bring in somebody who had a problem that you couldn't solve, right? The death of his family, you can't solve just by writing out an equation. You can't solve it by just telling him it's going to be okay. You actually have to do something. And that connection, this person who is trying to do good, they're thinking of the greater good, right? Has brought in them. Also takes us one step closer to suspicion. Like, did they orchestrate it or did he just find a person who had had this tragedy, right?
Because the Do Goods organization, when they bring our protagonist in, their pitch is like, we're going to bring like food around the world. We're going to clean water, like soil, like the pitch, the utopian Star Trek version of the transporter is all these great things, right? We'll eventually be able to get rid of cars and pollution and people will be able to travel like nonstop.
You have to imagine this technology is related to the replicator, right?
That's
Like,
right.
That's the same kind of technology.
Yeah.
But then what's the actual like bad version of this that is the actual goal?
Well, the actual bad version of it would be that you could
Digitize
theoretically
cities of people.
yeah, you could just and it's like a disintegrator ray. If you don't disintegrate, right?
Reintegrate.
You just that's what it is. You're creating it, and that could be maybe what he says is like, what you're doing is you're
a disintegration ray with an extra step.
yeah,
You could take whole populations prisoner,
that's right.
right?
Maybe the big bad guy's thing.
Or food sources. You could take entire crops.
You
know,
could remove the human race from the planet for a couple hundred years and then bring them back as is.
Oh,
There we
Like
go.
we need to give the
Yeah.
planet a rest.
oh,
We're
and
gonna take everybody, put them into stasis.
no, not everyone.
Not everybody. Oh,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like-
Everyone except for the people I want to keep.
Yeah, there's a cataclysm coming. There's a great food shortage coming. There's a environmental catastrophe.
oh my god, that could be a terrible / great ending. Like we think we've maybe won Snap, and then suddenly it's hundreds of years later he's brought back out.
Oh, when they escape the
When they
island,
escape,
they've actually not escaped
They don't get
when
rid-
they thought. Yeah. Oh, that's not bad.
because we've also kind of invented time travel with this.
Only time travel forward.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Escape time. Ooh, I like that as a good twist in the end where
Yeah.
they think they've jumped out of the island and then it's like civilization is now just overgrown.
But if you could,
verdant, perfect world.
It could be a digital world that they're in too, like living in a
I don't know if we want to take that step.
What's the Russell Crowe movie where that happens?
virtuosity.
Virtuosity. Good. Yeah, I love that you just
ready
had
with
that
that.
ready. Yeah. Virtuosity. Yeah.
Stephen,
It's not really. It's he's a
It's not
digital
for
person that comes into the real world.
Yes.
That's the opposite. I'm thinking more in terms of there's one called Upload. Have you seen that show?
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
That's where they have like it's almost like an afterlife.
So here we've rubbed against a problem with genre, is that certain tropes mix well with others,
Yeah.
and certain ones become a whole different story.
Yeah.
Right? And so if we have the characters focus on, oh, this is like time travel, now we're making it, you have to establish
Time
different
travel,
rules.
yeah.
If you say, oh, that it's like they're in a digital world, now you have to introduce one more impossible thing on top of
and
the
set
impossible
rules for
thing,
that new
and
world,
set
yeah.
rules each time you
Yeah.
do that. And that can be cool in a big, long form, like 1,500 page novel.
Yeah.
People do that, right? There are lots of rules in the Dune series that are not present in the movies, right? And when you take them out, it's fine because it's not about that, right? That's a different 200 pages.
so what if, okay, so playing with kind of what we've established so far, you get shot with this laser. What, like maybe you become like a little marble of glowiness, and that is the Gregory information. But then you still have to move that.
It's like
Then
a
it
thumb
takes-
drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just storing you in data, and then you can be brought back. But that's not really transporting. That's just turning you into raw information and then bringing you back. So that's that.
So I think,
That's
okay.
different. That's
So taking
not
what you're
transporting.
saying and making it a clunkier prototype version, right? It's like a capacitor. So like they turn you into electricity. Let's just think about it like that.
Okay.
And now they got to suck you into this capacitor and keep you running in there. And as long as no one turns it off, they can bring you back.
Okay.
But if they wanted to erase you forever, they'd just turn it off.
I feel like it needs to be like a cool cube. Like a cube holds.
Like a Marvel Universe Infinity
Yes,
Stone cube.
exactly.
It can't be a cube. It could be a circle. It could be a round sphere.
It's going to be something that fits like a design aesthetic for computers or something,
Draw
right?
an
It's
extra
going to be
line
something
on
very
that.
simple.
It's a Pokeball.
A Pokeball.
It's basically a Pokeball.
And that would be the jokes they'd be all making. Like, this is what I'm saying. One of the things that's actually interesting to me about this that has not been done is the scientists know all the same references we do and use them regularly as the Easter eggs.
I hate in zombie movies where they pretend like zombies have never been a thing
That's
in
right.
pop culture.
That's right. Or in a space movie, like no one has ever watched Star Trek. Like there are some obvious
Yeah.
jokes that people would make if they were aware at all about normal human culture. So these characters could do that. Now, it's also easy to scrub all that out, dear listener, in a second draft. No, those are distracting. I don't like it. It is not on the right references. Or to double down and you pick one character and you ascribe a character trait where they see the entire world through those references and they're always labeling things Brundlefly and Riker accident or bearded Riker, I guess, as you'd put on that one, right? Deanna loves Worf, those episodes, right? And that wouldn't matter to a general audience. It would just be a character trait that people who knew would know. That's a better way to do it, I think.
Less overt.
So then, the main character who has joined the do-gooders, who has come under the auspices of his life is ruined, he's been convinced to come in the hopes that will rehabilitate him, finds common ground with all these people, and finally is building this perfect, beautiful, utopian technology that's
This will
going to change the world
for the better.
for the better. And so at some point in that story, the at what cost moment, and I think that's what you would do. You would have, what would you give up to make this real conversation? Maybe they're all celebrating, so they've had a little too much to drink, and it goes around the table to what everyone would be willing to give up. And other people no one would be willing to give up their family or their friends or their loved ones, right? And he was forced to. And it creates that moment in the story where we have a juxtaposition of what they have that he will never have again. And then they give him credit. But if not for that tragedy, I wouldn't have done this. And if you weren't here, I wouldn't have done that. And the guy who's good at seeing patterns realizes right then he's been used to do this exact thing. And then he would go and confront our Mr. Good.
Give my regards to King Tut, asshole.
So you're talking about like the reveal where everything seems to be kind of on the upswing and things are okay. Like maybe, you know, life will get better. And then that's where that connection is made. Like that personal tragedy maybe wasn't an accident. There's something else that happened to another team member's family that's a little too coincidental.
Oh, yeah.
Something
He starts to see the pattern of it.
because there also has to be like, you know, the shock collars from the Do Good company. Like maybe they accidentally let something slip that like they shouldn't have known that, or the only way they could know that.
You said shot callers, but I heard you say shock collars, and I thought, do they all have shock collars? Did I miss something? What's happening? Is that how they're working?
Interesting.
Right. But I love this notion that he sees in the evidence of absence, right? Why is there an opening for him in the first place, right? Where was the last guy? Or maybe someone else is recently added. Was that an opening created? Did one of the do-gooders get killed in an accident?
Too many coincidences that he didn't really take the time to really notice before.
That's
because, you know, distraught,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And I think there's a great place for a good line in there by Mr. Good, where he just says to him, you know, they're all living their best lives and you're my best lie. Like he just confides in him. And if you tell them, it'll ruin it. And it forces him to keep the secret. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that all of the brainstorming that they would do about how it would change the world for the better would culminate in a group that obviously doesn't want that change, that would then come in or be that constant threat. The thing that causes the volcano explosion, the reason they have to escape, should be a bunch of people who do not want the quo to change. They want its status, baby.
Well, they could be listing out like all these amazing things you could do, right? Like you could bring, you know, fresh water to a village or a city. Well, you could also take that, you know, tons and tons of fresh water and drop it a mile above that city and kill everybody.
Right. Yes.
You know, like everything good that you could do with this technology, you could like do something extremely horrible with it as well.
And so who should have control over it becomes the question. At what cost would we change the world?
Nukes could be just transported into the White House.
And you could have one very dispassionate scientist simply saying, well, if we do the math, maybe it is important to wipe out 75% of the human race in order for the planet to survive, so that the other 25%, over another 100 years, they'll return. The population will bounce back, but they won't have all the bad habits of the previous societies. Like just even that as a very evil thing to say out loud, right? On a surface, on a dispassionate scientific surface is true. If you wiped out 75% of the human race, a lot of bad habits would go with it.
I do like that idea of like that is their goal, just to transport, to digitize and store a huge chunk of the population, just to give the planet a chance to rebound.
And they need and this ties in now to the what's that called? There's a name for the kind of technology where geothermal energy, where they're using a geothermal energy plant at the volcano because it won't run out of power. Right. And so if they have to wait 100 years while everyone's in storage in the big capacitors, right, they have a constant energy source.
They probably wouldn't plan on actually keeping them, though. Wouldn't that be the...
Oh, that's the twist, is you're telling everyone, oh, we're going to put you all in here. Now, I think there is no way that an audience or a reader plausibly would believe that the population of the world would agree to anything.
No.
Right? So it has to be that they're going to do it.
Well, maybe this is set, you know, in the future where the planet is at, like, we're past that tipping point. Weather is horrible, freezing, you know, like the world isn't like just getting like
in a bad way.
Right. So people are dying left and right anyways.
Okay. So if we want to change the tone to make it a little more sinister, it would open with some news tickers and some general news. You'd have the main story being ecological disaster, but underneath you'd have this metronomic returning event in other media where entire towns and cities, people are going missing.
Oh, yeah.
To suggest that they've been testing the technology for a while and that the do-goods have, like, oh, well, you heard about how everyone in Chicago went missing. That was us. Right? They're here. They're here right here.
That could be the reveal. Our main character goes down into the basement and finds an endless cavern just full of, server racks full of people, places, things.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
good.
And in some really evil moment when our hero is like confronting them, Mr. Good could be like, oh, well, you're going to do what I say. And he could be turning them off. Like, well, there's 10,000 people. Are you going to do it or not? And he'd turn off another one. Are you going to do it or not? Like, at what cost?
This was a town in Ohio,
Yeah.
population 12,081.
Right?
All gone.
Boom.
Yeah.
Right? And is he bluffing? Is he not bluffing? You'd figure that out as you're writing the draft. But I think that's a really high stakes, emotionally charged
I
scene.
do like that.
Yeah.
So in our story, this someone somewhere wants something goes wrong. A detail from earlier is the plot twist that makes it go right. What is the detail? What does our main character, we haven't named him or even given him a
Single characteristic.
yes,
That's
or
later.
even a single characteristic. Sad dad. Our sad dad.
Is his family actually gone? Maybe they're in the server racks. Well, but they don't have that figured out when he first joined.
They know how to take them and not how to put them back.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. Maybe they know how to reintegrate them.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. They
All
can
right.
take so, and then they have been taking them, just waiting until they have that second piece of the puzzle figured out.
See, because these now he's becoming more like a Bond villain, right? Whoever Mr. Good is, he lives in a volcano and he's
just a big picture guy. He's worried about the planet.
that's right. He's a big picture guy,
He's really not a bad guy.
and he makes a joke about like that line from the Bible, right? He's got it backwards, like it's God giveth and
building
God
an
taketh
ark.
away, right? And I know how to take it away, but I don't know how to give it. I need you. It is an ark. Yeah.
He's building an ark.
Yeah. So, because I like to cast religious fundamentalists as the villain in almost anything, I like where you're going with this. And as the real world slides tech bros into religious oligarchies, I feel like maybe it's too real, Justin.
A little too on the nose.
A little too on the nose.
At the end, you could have just like a whole bunch of those like big unmanned drones that the U.S. military uses. You could just release a swarm of them covered in like the little laser beams below, and they're just swarming across cities, just zapping down, tapping people, like take.
See, I was going to go more biblical with it once you said that. Big storms, because we have all these storms and all these ecological disasters. But those storms, when the lightning is dropping, it's actually the machine that they're using that they like strike the beams, the lightning, the arcs. I'm thinking, because I love 1980s lightning effects in movies, those kinds of lightning bolts that are coming down and jumping along the ground and like zapping people and then they're disappearing, right? And so you'd have this like biblical storm event that
maybe
is
this
actually
arc of
causing...
like maybe the technology can only latch on to organic. It can't latch on to
Oh.
unorganic. So they can only be grabbing and storing
living things.
They can't do it with, and maybe that's something that he helps them discover, figure out that's part of the problem.
That's right. Yeah.
So you come out of it naked. But
Yeah. Like, two of all living things isn't useful to me. I also want their Porsches. Right?
Okay, what are we thinking for a title? Let's get this thing a working title and get out of here.
I think the do-gooders. No, it can't be that.
but a comparable movie for like...
I mean, we've been kind of going along with Stargate. This is kind of the same kind of a thing, except just a different device.
Yeah, except that it's gone into pure mad science territory, which I like.
I do kind of want it to end with him being unzapped hundreds of years in the future. The bad guy wins.
Yeah. Your best life, best lie. The poster could say your best life and it could cross out
From
the
here to
F.
there.
Yeah. From here to there. No, that's not doing it. What about I'm just looking at our notes
Lena
here.
Blake.
Greater good.
What about Jumper? But you take out the U, so it's just JMPR. Jumper. Remember that movie? That was a great movie.
Oh, Jumper.
Yes.
Oh my God. I believe that actor is no longer.
Hayden Christensen?
Oh no, Hayden Christensen's okay.
still
Is that
doing
who was in that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of He Who Shall Not Be Named, but they're similar.
Samuel Jackson?
No, he's fine. I'm sure he's a delight. That is who I'm thinking of, James Franco.
James Franco.
Yes. Okay, so let's get all that nonsense out. Dear listener, the whole point of a Story Break episode is to shake the tree of the things you like. And when some things fall out, you go, oh, how would I put these together? What connects? What doesn't connect? And you simply are challenging yourself to say, if I accept these things as being true, how do I make a story? A story is a very simple technology. It has a simple shape. And simply by us putting it in the positions of those places, we know it's a story. We are not claiming that this is a good story.
Yet.
What we are suggesting to you is that this is the beginning of a story. And in an hour, you can come up with a story of your own. You can sit down with your friends and you can do. That's not the work.
The second version of this, where we start fleshing out the characters, their personalities, their interactions, the core foundation of it is going to change as well, because things are going to make certain sense with the characters that we build, right? But you need that first pass, that first rough pass. Go through it all.
That's right.
See what works, what doesn't, and then the second pass is going to fine tune it, and it goes from there.
And for the prose writers in the world, the pantsers, of course, would not have figured out any of this. They just write it a scene at a time. But the plotters might do what we're doing now. Create a plot, a plan, a final scene, and then you would write between those scenes as the connective tissue to try and fill it out. And whether it's a graphic novel or a prose novel, or you think of it as a graphic novel, what you're simply trying to do is you're trying to make a cause and effect relationship between the actions of the characters, the place they are, their motivations. And if those things seem to make sense, we all did it. We all went, oh yeah, every time it made sense. Mm-hmm. You can trust your instinct. In fact, it's the one thing that we have that our robot overlords don't have, is the ability to put those patterns together and recognize an idea for what it is. So, do good and you will do well. This has been Super Pulp Science. I'm encouraging you to join the fight and make comics.